Welcome, YouTube world. FIFA 20, patch 1.06. If you don't want to hear me narrate the patch notes, it's super simple. There's going to be a link in the description for you to click on, and you can save yourself the pain. Let's just get right into it. FIFA 20 is now updated to 1.06. Rolling out on PS4 and Xbox, and I think it's also on PC. Fixes things with crashing, matchmaking, and more. Apart from this, it also includes stability and performance improvements. Okay, let's get right into the gameplay. General changes here. When losing possession and transitioning into a drop back defensive tactic, the defensive team will no longer apply any pressure to the attacking team. This change is intended to bring the tactic closer in line with how it is portrayed on the real-life pitch. As a result of this change, the offensive player can have more space to use in order to build an attack after winning the ball back. Strikers set to come back on defensive player instructions will not join the midfield defensive line if it's already consisting of the maximum allowed players. For 4 defender formations, the maximum capacity of the midfield line is 4. For 3 and 5 defender formations, the maximum capacity of the midfield line is 3. Increased likelihood of the ball carrier stumbling after being successfully tackled when the defensive player performs the standing tackle action. The direction of the stumble is more influenced by the direction of the defender tackles from. During the stumble, the tackle player is no longer able to take control of the ball. Reduced effectiveness of first-time shots and volleys from the edge of the box and beyond. Increased error for difficult first-time shots and all volleys, resulting in potentially less accuracy, speed, and spin. Increased incoming ball velocity impact on the first-time shot error calculation. Increased impact of vertical ball velocity on volley error calculation. Slightly lowered the impact of high attributes on error reduction for difficult regular shots. This change only impacts the error reduction that was being applied by attributes used in shooting situations when they're between 91 and 99. This will result in slightly more error for difficult shots, resulting in potentially less accuracy, speed, and spin. This does not impact finesse or chip shots. Make the following changes to the long shot and finishing attributes. The long shot attribute has been updated to now impact the results of a shot taken from 65 feet or further away from the target. The target is the exact location of where the ball is expected to go, determined through a mixture of directional input and the shooting assistance setting. The finishing attribute impacts shots results from 55 feet or closer to the target. Shots between 55 and 65 feet from the target will now use a weighted average of the long shot and finishing attributes when impacting shot results. Increase the likelihood of shots going off target when taken from 45 feet or further from the target. The impact of this change scales upwards towards between 45 and 55 feet, with the maximum impact capping at 55. This means that any shot from 55 feet away or greater from the target will be more likely to go off target. Ground passes and driven ground passes taken from difficult angles will now result in the ball traveling with less velocity. This change only affects passes of a certain distance, starting at 40 feet and scaling upwards, with the maximum impact being at 60 feet, which will impact passes at 60 feet and beyond. This change affects all ground passes that are performed between 100 to 180 degrees and 260 to 180 degrees, where 0 degrees is the direction of the player is facing. The impact of this change scales upwards from 100 to 180 and 260 to 180, with the greatest impact Stability issue when repeatedly scrolling through the search results on the Transfer Market tab of the squad screen. Some FIFA point options were not properly displaying the appropriate currency symbol. Sometimes when moving duplicate player items on the new item screens between the transfer list and keep item sections, the duplicate player item was not being sorted as a duplicate item, resulting in a server error when you attempted to send that item to your club. Visuals overlapping on the reward screen after completion of some squad building challenges. It was possible to initiate a Foot Rivals match without claiming the previous competition's reward, which would result in a server error. Hey, I'm French. I think I'm doing okay. Resetting the filters on the club tab of the squad screen was still resulting in those filters being applied if you switched between the squad and club tabs again. Visual issue during a pack opening for a lone player item where the lone icon was displaying before the rest of the player item. Visual issue on the FUT Champions leaderboards resulting in overlay misalignment. Celebration animations displayed on the season objective hub were displaying an incorrect kit. The skill rating logo was incorrectly displaying next to a player's weekly score on the Rivals hub. PC only. The E button, gee, I never would have guessed, was not functioning correctly on the club tab when multi-swap was active. Career mode made the following changes when creating a pro in player career. I'm on 3.5 hours of sleep. The maximum height can now be set to 6'9". Address the following issues. Unable to skip the pre-match cinematics for some important matches. When creating a pro and player career, the black shoes were incorrectly showing as totally black. No comment. Gameplay. Volta Football made the following changes. Removed some lobbed flare pass animations from triggering contextually. They can now only be performed with the flare pass action. The defending player will now keep an increased distance between the ball carrier and themselves when using contain or teammate contain. Added logic to allow more transitions out of blocking animations, specifically when the ball was moving away from the player or when an unexpected touch occurred. Addressed the following issues as well. Addressed a rare occurrence of players being unable to recover the ball following a kick-in. Resolved goals sometimes not being correctly attributed to the scorer. This was impacting eliminations in survival matches in kickoff and match facts. Volta Football addressed the following issues. Stability issue when using the swap player functionality in the Volta Football shop. This issue had been introduced in the previous title update. The finishing moves section of the celebration controls has been removed as if it was not functional in Volta Football. Corrected the text that displayed in the Volta Football skill games to correctly indicate that completing the skill game once will prevent any further attempts to boost your avatar's attributes. Incorrect player name was sometimes showing after a goal was scored in Volta League. When Volta Football match creation has been disabled, attempting to start a match in Volta League will now correctly indicate that the feature is unavailable. Referees were sometimes wearing the wrong kit. Visual issues after disconnect from a Volta Football match. I've had that. Online game modes address the following issues. When using the 85 overall setting in online friendlies, it was not properly setting the teams and players to 85 overall. General made the following changes. When selecting a commentary name for a created pro in player career and pro clubs, we have added the ability to page up and page down through the list of names. Address the following issues. Editing the kit for players through the customized screen was resulting in the changes to other aspects of the player, such as their position or attributes. Tell me about it. Take Me There functionality was not working for some modes. Repeatedly entering and exiting the team management screens in various modes would cause the screen to become visually corrupted. Corrected text issue in EA track screen. Visuals made the following changes. Added 37 new star heads. These will only be available following a server update to multiple kits, ball stadiums, and trophies. Adjusted Memphis Depay's signature celebration. Addressed the following issues. Visual issue when playing as a goalkeeper using the pro camera in the Estadio de Vallecas stadium. Various issues related to the broadcast overlay package shown during a match. Audio addressed the following issues. Audio looping in Volta Football following a penalty being scored during a penalty shootout. Incorrect commentary sometimes playing when a goal is scored that clinches a title. Incorrect audio playing in some situations after scoring a goal in Volta Football. Incorrect audio playing in some situations after a player scores a goal in their debut. Commentary sometimes inaccurately referring to a team losing by a small margin when the score is very lopsided. In career mode, commentary would sometimes reference the previous season incorrectly. Fixed crashing issues. Added matchmaking improvements, performance and stability improvements, added AI improvements, some minor under-the-hood fixes. FIFA 20 Update 1.06 for PS4 and Xbox One is now available for download, and I believe on PC. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like the video, give it a thumbs down, and I'll make sure when you load FIFA 20,